Hey guys, SharpG1 here with another scripting tutorial. Today what I'll be teaching you guys are local scripts and welds. So go ahead and go into Roblox Studio and go into an empty base plate. We can get started. So I'm going to first talk about welds, alright? So what welds are, they are like a joint that can hold two or more things together, like rigidly. But they can still be around. It's kind of like anchoring, but they'll be attached to each other. So I'll make an example right here. So this thing also will do an automatic weld. And alright. So inside of this says part to part strong joint. It is a manual weld. And so now these two parts are connected because they have been welded together. So let's click the run button and then we'll watch it fall. See? There are two parts, but they fell as one because they were welded together. That's an example of what a weld can do. But it's just a very simple way of doing it, and you cannot have much variety in it. So I'm going to show you how to script it. So let's get a script. And then we're going to create two parts in the workspace. So what we do, we're going to do part equals instance.new part, and then put it in the workspace. And we're just going to leave it as the default position, and then part 2 equals instance.new part workspace. Okay, so we have the two parts down. Now we're going to get to the actual welding. So here's how you create a weld. We're just going to name it W for short for weld. We're going to do equals instance.new and then type in weld. And then we're going to put it in part. So first I need to explain some properties of the weld. Let's create one in here, and then we'll look at some of the properties. So down here in the properties, there's a class name which just tells you what it is, which is weld. Its name, which is we're going to keep it weld, and its parent, which is the workspace. What we're going to worry about are these properties, part 0 and part 1. So these are the two parts that you'll be welding together. So part 0 is the main part. Part 1 is the second part that you're welding to part 0. So that's how this thing knows which two parts are welding together. So as you can see, you cannot edit these parts just by clicking on them in here. You have to do it with a script. So to do this, we're just going to type in w.part0 equals, and then our part 0 is going to be part. Then part 1 is going to equal part 2. So we got these two parts referenced for the weld. And now so let's just see what happens right now. See, it looks like it's one part, but it's really not. Both of the parts are there. It's just that they are welded at they're welded together at the exact same position. So they're still two parts. They were just welded together at the same position. But it's not what we want. We're going to be able to change how it's welded to the other part. To do this, we use the properties C0 and C1. So what we do w.c0 equals CFrame.new. So maybe wondering what CFrame is. CFrame is very similar to Vector 3, except that this stands for coordinate frame. And there's some other differences I don't know about, but you have to use CFrame for welding and stuff. Okay, let's just look into it. Let's look it up on the wiki and see what it is. Let's type in Roblox wiki. What is CFrame?
Hello, Sharp Chain 1.
Alright. So up here, the first result says CFrame Roblox Wiki. I'm going to click on that. Okay. So, according to the wiki, it says CFrame or coordinate frame on the API pages is a data type that represents a position and orientation in 3D space. All objects inherited from base part have a property named CFrame of this type. This property defines where the object is positioned, how it's rotated, orientation. So, apparently this has to do with more than just position, it has to do with rotation. So let's look up vector 3 and we can see some differences. Roblox wiki vector 3. Vector 3 Roblox wiki. A vector 3 is a user data that holds a coordinate in 3D space described by 3 numbers. These numbers represent the x, y, and z coordinates. They can be used to hold positions, sizes, speeds, and more. So, apparently CFrame has it. You can do a bit more with it. They can do rotate. They got to do with orientation and some other things, which is why I guess sometimes you can have more than just 3 numbers in here. Because I've seen sometimes where like they go on for like tons of numbers. Okay, so what we need to do is to describe the 3 coordinates. They will be offset from each other. So to do, we're just going to do 5, 0, 0, and we'll see what happens. And as you can see, the 2 parts, they've been placed a little bit from each other. And see, if we raise them up, they will fall as one part. See? They're rotated as one, so basically they're attached to each other. This is how you would make things like cars and stuff. So when you move them, they would not all fall apart. So if they would be moved as one. So let's make it so let's do 4. They will be attached edge to edge. Alright. So we can do that. And let's try C1. That's like an offset part. So let's do 1. And then let's see what happens. Okay. So here is what it did. So you have a little bit inside of the other brick. But what it did was that C0, it moved its 4 studs, it moved this brick 4 studs this way into the x-axis from here. But then this one moved it 1 more stud in, which is why it's inside of this. So I'll kind of give you a visual example. So here's what happened. When the weld was first created, the parts were moved right here inside of each other. Oops, let's anchor for a minute. Make this one too. So the parts were welded right inside of each other like this. So what the first thing did, it moved it over 4 studs. 1. Oops, hold on. Let's do it like this. So what the weld did was it moved the brick over 4 studs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then C1, which is like an offset, moved it back the opposite direction in 1 stud, which means one like this. Which is why the bricks are inside of each other. So that is pretty much it for welds right now. You can do many more things with it. Obviously, you could attach. You could do. It doesn't have to be just on the x-axis. You could do any axis. You could anything you want. This is how you can like make complicated tools and stuff, or cars, or anything. That's what's so great about welding. You can do so many cool things with it. And you can make it move more things at once. So let's go on to local scripts now. So we're going to get rid of this regular script, which is actually a server script, because that is not a local script. First I'm going to describe what a local script is. A local script is a script that is very similar to server scripts, except they can only run in the player's backpack. Forget what the backpack is. I will show you. in the players, and in the player, and click on that, and then there's the backpack right there. Oh yeah, local scripts can actually play in backpacks, tools, or in the player GUI. We're just gonna do it in the backpack for now. Let's press stop. So now it's going to go ahead and create a local script inside of the starter pack. So up here we're going to type in local. Okay, so as you can see, not much has changed from the normal script. It still says, so it has these two lines, still says print hello world in there. We're going to delete that. So now I'm going to go and describe local scripts a little bit more. So what a local script can do is it can get information about its player about the player who owns the backpack that it is inside. Like you can get the player's mouse, you can get like keyboard input, mouse buttons, like if they like you can even get like if you can make it detect if they scrolled the scrolling wheel or press the right mouse button or the left mouse button. You can do so much more with a local script. You can also get what friends are online at Roblox at the moment. You can get their let's see. You can get what group they're inside of. What else is there? You can get their character directly from this thing. You can do a bunch of stuff with it, and I will show you how to do some of those things I just described today. So, first I think I'm going to describe a local player. So to get a player, like the player who owns this local script right here, what you do, we'll type in a variable called player, and it's going to equal game.players.localPlayer. So what this is doing is that it's getting the player who this local script is inside of. Does that kind of make sense? You can get like the actual player object inside the player's thing, and you can do multiple things with it. So we got the actual player. So now let's get the mouse, like the player's mouse, thing that you click around with and stuff. So what you do, we're just gonna make a variable called mouse, and it equals player semicolon, and then get mouse. Alright, simple as that. So now you can manipulate the player's mouse to do things like, well, you can't manipulate it because the player has to be able to have control over it, but you can detect things like if they pressed a key. So for example, let's do mouse.keyDown. So we're going to type in mouse.keyDown, connect, function, and key. Oops. Alright, so what this is doing is taking the mouse. Oh, also I should explain this. When you get the player's mouse, you're also getting the keyboard at the same time, so you can detect keyboard input. This is kind of weird, but it's kind of convenient, so you don't have to get two things at once. But so what it does is it's an event listener of the mouse. So it's getting the mouse, and then it's waiting for when the player presses a key, and so it's going to connect to a function, and it's going to get the key that was pressed, which we're going to define as the variable key. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it print what key that the player pressed. So we're going to do print key. Actually, we're going to say, let's see, player.name has pressed the what's going on? Press the key. There you go. So what this is doing, in case you guys don't know about this yet, it's getting the player's name, which is we define up here. Player is player, and then dot name, and these two dots here mean that we're continuing the string. That mean we're continuing it. Like we're still writing to the string, but we're going to add stuff onto it in a different kind of way. Like in here we're getting a property, but in here we're typing in our own string. And we type this in here to get another insert another variable. Do this to insert more strings over here. So let's go ahead and press play here. So your character spawns in. Okay. If you're a little slow, press space. See? It says. Okay, so okay. So put a space in between there, which is Roblox's way of defining the space key. But let's press the W key instead. Players press the W key. See? The W key. So I'm gonna go up here and press some other keys. So I can press a bunch of different stuff. I see this went all over the keyboard. And so, see, it's all this stuff. The player has pressed the I key. Player has pressed the A, the F, the D, G, F, L, all those keys. So I can detect whatever key it is. And so, as you can see, this can be a very powerful function. You can do many things with this. Like, you can just, like, to press, like, to make things reload. And so, to do this, what you could do, you could detect what key they pressed. So, like, let's say you wanted to make a reload function when they press the key R. So what we could do is if you do if key equals R, then we're just going to print reloading. Do that. Alright, this obviously isn't going to reload an actual gun. I'm just giving you an example of how you would, get it to activate when the R key is pressed. Alright, see, I'm pressing a bunch of buttons now, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be able to move. And so I'm going to press the R key. And see, it said reloading. Right, down here. I'll press the R key again. See, it did it again. See, it's doing it a bunch of times. So you can do anything you want. Though you can't, there are some keys that you can't do by just typing in the name, like the letter of it. Like the shift key, for example. To do the shift key, you would have to do if key byte equals 48. Then we could print something like the shift key was pressed. So that's how you detect if the shift key was pressed, because you can't type in the word shift, or else that wouldn't work. So you have to get the byte of the key, which we're doing right here. So we're doing if key, which is the key that we pressed up here. And then it's getting the byte, and then if it equals 48, which is the shift key, then it'll print the shift key was pressed. Let's go ahead and press play. And this can be used for like making it a sprint, making you play a sprint when you press it. So I can press the shift key, and then it says shift key was pressed. See? Oh, I'm trying to take the keys. Okay, so that's key down, and there's also one other function called key up, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's triggered when you lift up a key. So you do the same exact way you do it as key down, except you're detecting it as key up. So let's just say, instead of saying the shift key was pressed, we're going to say shift key was released. Okay. Okay, let's move around. Alright, so now I'm holding down the shift key right now, but nothing's happening. But I'm going to let go of the shift key and watch what happens. Shift key was released, see? So that's how you can get the shift key. Roblox Wiki has a list of bytes and stuff for the other keys that you can't do with single letters. You can go look that up in the wiki if you want to do other keys and stuff. So that's mouse.key down. So now I'm going to talk about the character. So your player's character is a thing that you control in the workspace using the WASD keys. So you can get that from a local script as well. So to do that, all you do, to reference the player's character, you just type in player, the player you're talking about, and you do dot, and then character. And now it's referencing to the character in the workspace. You could look for the character by doing like workspace, find first child and the name of it. But the problem with that is that there could be a time, it probably won't happen, but it could be possible that there might be another brick in the workspace that is named the same thing as your character, so it could mistake that model for your character, and then it can mess up lots of different things. So a better way to do it is to do player dot character. Okay. So one thing to keep in mind when you do player dot character though. When you join the game, your character does not load the second you do it. So if you just do player dot character right off the bat in a server, the script will not be able to find your character. Thus, it will return an error because it is not there yet. So the smart thing to do is to do a wait command. It usually takes about 3 seconds once you get fully in the game for your character to load, but just to be safe, I think we're gonna do 5 seconds. So then we're gonna do char equals player dot character. Okay, so now that we have the character, we can manipulate a bunch of stuff inside the character. So how about we make it so when you press the shift key, your character will sprint. So let's do mouse dot key down connect function key if key byte equals 48, then character dot humanoid dot walk speed equals, I'm just gonna do 30. You can make it whatever you want because it's sprinting. Alright, so we made it so that way when you press the key, so when the key is down, your walk speed will be 30. So let's make it so that way when you lift up the key, your walk speed will go back to its default speed, which would be 16. So we're gonna do mouse.KeyUp connect function key if key byte equals 48, then character dot humanoid dot walk speed equals 16. So we'll try it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so that should work. I'm working at normal speed right now, so let's press shift and see what happens. So as you can see, I'm going a little bit faster. Kind of hard to tell. So you can see just moving around. Let's make it go faster. You guys can see a difference. Let's make this speed 70. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. As you can see, I'm going pretty fast. I'm reaching the end of the base pretty quickly. So when I press shift, I go fast, and when I let go of it, it will stop. See? Go back and forth like that. So that is one of the very good uses for local scripts and getting the mouse. Obviously they can help you with a lot of things. Also, like for tools and stuff, like making a gun. If you're going to make a button where you can zoom in with your gun, normally they make it so you press the right mouse button. But with a normal tool, there's no event that detects if you do that. So you can get the player mouse to detect if that happens. That's one of the very good uses of getting the mouse in local scripts. So now let's talk about detecting if you pressed a button on the mouse. If you clicked with your mouse button. So what you do to detect if the left mouse button was clicked, you do mouse dot button 1, which is the left mouse button, and then down. You connect function. You don't need any parameters for that because you know what's been pressed. So we can say print. Let's see, left mouse button has been pressed. Okay, let's go ahead and try that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. See, right here in the workspace. Left mouse button has been pressed. Let's do it up here again. Left mouse button has been pressed. Alright, so that's how you detect if it's been pressed. Also, if you want to detect if they let go of the mouse, you can do the same thing, just get rid of that down and do up, I think. That's how you do it. Let's try it. Released. play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Yep, there we go. Did it. Right there. Okay. So that's how you do the mouse buttons. You can also, like I said before, if you want to detect if the right mouse button was clicked, all you do is do mouse dot button 2 down, and same thing. So so also you can detect if the scroll wheel was if the scroll wheel has been used. So I believe you do mouse dot scroll. Here, let's do it like this. No. I forgot what that was. I haven't used it forever. Here, let's go to View Object Browser and we can look it up. Let's see, where's the mouse? Is mouse behavior? What's that? Lock center, let's see. Oh yeah, it should be up here actually. And there it is, mouse. Okay. There's a bunch of stuff in here. We're going to look for, here it is, all the events. So right here, there's idle when it's not moving. Ah, here it is. Wheel backward and wheel forward, which is the scroll wheel on your mouse, which is what I'm using right now to scroll up and down this thing right here. So wheel forward when you scroll when you scroll it forward. Wheel backwards when you scroll it backward. So let's get exit out of that. So having mouse dot wheel forward connect function. We'll make it print the scroll wheel has been moved forward. Okay. So this and then there it is, see? Scroll wheel has been moved forward. Oh yeah. Here, let's print something in here so I can see the difference. There. Alright, see? There's a bunch of stuff. For all those times that I did, it said that a bunch of times. Scroll wheel has been moved forward. And you can do the same thing for detecting if it was moved backwards. All you gotta do is just do wheel. So doing wheel forward, type in wheel backward. I think it's like that. Here, let's enable it again so it happens. Oh yeah, that's right, we should probably do backwards so you can see the difference. Backward, yeah. Forward. And what's wrong with you? Okay, let's just do stop so it'll be much easier. Okay, so we're gonna do backward. Scroll has moved backward. Okay, let's do play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. See, it's been moved. Here it's backward and yeah. So it says the scroll has been moved backward for all this time that I've moved it backward. So that can be used for many things, as you can think of. Like in the game that I've been making, I use that so you can scroll in and out, like get closer to all the buildings that you're in the game. So that's pretty much it for local scripts that I have to do today. But that's all there really is, like the basic functions, I guess, for local scripts. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make it so when you click somewhere, it'll teleport your character to it. So using all the things that I just taught you so far. So we're going to do wait for character. We're going to do player equals game.players.LocalPlayer. We're going to do mouse equals player get mouse. And then character equals player dot character. Right here, there. So what we're gonna do is that mouse dot button one down connect function. Okay, so I need to explain something about the mouse. So for this teleport thing to work, we need to be able to get the position at which the mouse is pointing at. Like right now, my mouse is pointing at a certain position. We need to be able to get the position of that that is pointing to in 3D space. So to do that, you get mouse.hit.p, and then that is the 3D place of where your mouse is pointing to. So what we're going to do is we're going to do character, which is the player's character in the workspace. We're going to do move to. Then we're going to do mouse.hit.p. And so when we when we press the left mouse button, actually I think we should pick it right because you usually use let's do this first one. So what it's going to do is can teleport the character to the position at which your mouse is pointing at when you click. So let's try that out. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try it out. Alright, see, it's teleported me, so watch. See, I can tell we're all over the place. It's a pretty fun thing to do. Mess around with it, add special effects if you want. Things like that. Oh no! Teleported right off the map. That's one thing you gotta be careful when you do that. You can be teleported like over to infinity. So that's how you can do teleporting. It's a pretty basic thing you could do. So that's all I have to show you guys for now. I hope this helps you guys with LocalScripts and Welds. Please thumbs up and subscribe if this helped you or you liked the video. And I will see you guys next time.